the Girly Girl Bookworm. So I have a weekly wrap up. Woohoo! I feel like I've been dancing whenever I do weekly wrap ups. I just like get the fist pumping going. So it is Sunday, and I promised this video was coming, and it's coming. Oh yeah. I read 3 books this week, and that was from Sunday till last night. Yeah. So let's just get started. The first book I read was The Lucky One by Nicholas Sparks. And I was like on a Nicholas Sparks kick. Like I read The Wedding and then I finished that and then I started this on Sunday. And I bought more Nicholas Sparks books this week. I'm just on Nicholas Sparks like craziness, which is interesting because I only gave The Lucky Ones 3 stars. And The Lucky Ones, if you don't know what The Lucky One, if you don't know what it's about, is a man named Logan, and he is out in war, and he finds this picture, and he tries to get somebody to claim it, but nobody claims it, so he kind of keeps it as his own, and it turns kind of into his, like, lucky charm, because they call him the Lucky One, because he, like, survived so many times when he really shouldn't have survived. And so he leaves war, and his buddy is like, you owe this girl. You need to go find her. You owe her. So he, like, tracks her down. He walks all the way from Colorado to North Carolina to meet her, and he starts working for her, but he doesn't tell her right away who he is and why he's there, and things happen where they start to, like, finally get along, because in the beginning she really doesn't like him. And she's got this psycho ex-boyfriend who's, well, ex-husband, and he's just weird. Like, he's very possessive over her. And I thought this book was really good towards the end, but, like, I was reading this all day Sunday. I read all of it except 50 pages on Sunday. And the beginning, I was just, like, dragging. I was like, something's got to give. Like, something's got to happen. I'm not feeling this. And I think, too, like, a lot of it, like, they would explain, like, things that happened in war. And, like, this attack on this and this car bombing, and it was really kind of confusing to follow. And in the end, I did enjoy it, which is why I gave it a 3, but I wasn't in love with the whole story because it was very slow. The next book I picked up on Tuesday, I believe it was, because I read the 50 pages on Monday, and then I was like, done. I didn't want to read anymore, which was strange. But I picked up The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold, and I gave this a 1, I think, on Goodreads. It was boring. It's about this girl. She's 14, and she is murdered, and it's, like, within the first page, like, she says, like, I'm dead, by the way. Like, and she is our narrator, and she's up in heaven stalking her family, and then it just gets cheesy and weird at the end, and nothing really happens. Like, they don't even catch her killer. I am just not in love with this book. Like, I was expecting suspense, I was expecting thriller, and I didn't get any of it. Like, there was times where it would start to get kind of suspenseful. I was like, something's gonna happen, and nothing resulted of it. Like, I don't know how this book is a movie. I don't understand why people say they get emotional reading it. I really did not enjoy this book in the least bit, and probably one of the worst books I read this year. The last book I read like 10 pages Thursday, and then 10 pages Friday morning, and then I, like, cranked it out Friday night and Saturday. And that is Hades by Alexandra Adornetto, and this is book 2 in the Halo trilogy. And I'm not going to go into too much about this book, about what it's about, because I don't want to spoil the series, but Halo is about a girl who is an angel, and she comes down from heaven with her brother Gabriel and her sister Ivy, and they are supposed to help rid the evil out of this town, and they do, but then evil comes and ensues issues. And the angel falls in love with a human, which is also, like, big no-no, and the basic premise of the first book kind of basically happens in the second book. But the second book is totally different because now it takes place mostly in Hades, and her love are, like, separated for most of it. And it's just, I gave it a 3, It's just basically being very, very generous, because this author is another one of those authors that likes to use big words for no reason. Like, this is a YA novel, and she was using words that I didn't even know existed, and that was just like, no, don't even. And like, she's very big on like repetitive ideas, like nostalgia, and like love. Like, seriously, these kids are 17 and they're like, oh, googly bear, and like all obsessed with each other, and they've only known each other for like 6 months. Like, come on. Like, granted, obviously, like, that's how 16-year-olds think, like, oh, we're in love. Like, I don't know. This is also filled with lots of cheesiness, too, I feel like. And, like, Lucifer is in this book, and they call him Big Daddy. Like, that's just weird. And I'm not a huge fan of this book. That's why I said a 3 is generous. And I don't have Heaven. I just want to, like, read Heaven just to get it over with. Because, like the first book, I thought the first book could be a standalone. This could be easily a duology if it didn't include the epilogue, like the end part, like the last sentence again. It could have been a duology. Like, it could have been a standalone, it could have been a duology. Does not need book 3. But now I have to read book 3, which I don't have, so I don't know. It's crazy. But that's all I read this week. I haven't read anything yet. It's almost like the end of Sunday, and I haven't read yet. But it's also Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye, everyone.